Eskin! Oh, yeah. Hey, you turn it up, Philly. It's time to roll on the ones and twos, taking full control. From the link to the X, from the sixes to the fields. One voice cuts through, giving you the real. He broke the stories, he started the fire, launched the whole game back in '86, never retired. Heroes crown him, yeah, they call him the king. Fur coat flashing, bling bling in every ring. He's the hardest working, great talking dog. Call in with your tape, but don't get it wrong. He'll call you a nitwit if you're acting a fool, but deep down you love it. That's the Eskin rule. Riding with the king, yeah, we're riding with the king. Howard Eskin show, let the truth ring. Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, he knows the deal. Philly sports royalty, bow down and kneel. Riding with the king, put your hands in the air. From South Philly streets to the Delaware. No filter, no fear, just the facts on the mic. It's the Howard Eskin show. Let's go get sight. Hey, riding with the king. Riding with the king. Hey, riding with the king. Riding with the king.
Oh yeah, well, this could be a bumpy ride today, because as we heard yesterday at the stadium, it was not a good day. Not a good day. Not a good day for Eagles fans. And I've got a lot to say to these in the last 8 games, this 500 football team. Can you believe the Eagles are 4-4? But anyway, before we get into all that stuff, I just want to welcome you this morning. I'm sure there's a lot of people that, needless to say, are pissed, really pissed. And I think you've created your own problems. But first of all, let me tell you that I'm happy to tell you that this show is presented by Stillwell Financial Advisors. Jeff Stillwell does, and I've told you this many times, and I know people have called, and people just call and you find out for yourself. You find out for yourself. All right. Any wealth that you may want to invest, talk to Jeff Stillwell about doing so, because he knows what's going on, and the financial world is really changing, and Jeff Stillwell is on top of it. 732-343-0813. I see there's people already pissed, and you can join the show, and the link is up there on the chat line. One person here, the Eagles absolutely stink. Well, right now that might be correct. The only team that you can really count on, I think, that you can really count on, are the Flyers. They won again on Friday night. Give them credit. But let's get into this Eagles thing. 4-4 in the last 8 games. 4-4 in the last 8 games. They've given up in the last two games, 2 straight losses, 2 yards short of 900 yards. The defense has given up 2 yards short of 900 yards in the last 2 games. They gave up 281 yards rushing. You know, all the fans, the defense. Well, the defense is got holes in it, and the term goes leaking a little oil. Vic Fangio, and it's like, you're going to blame Vic Fangio now? You want him fired too? Well, look at the defense has given up 900 yards in the last 2 games. Let's fire Vic Fangio. See, that's where you're wrong. Players make plays, and you've got to stop with the firing of the coaches. And we'll get into all those issues. But we have a lot to talk about today, a lot to talk about. And your feelings about, you can't even think about the Super Bowl right now. You got to think about this team getting better. And I'm not sure that they can. get better with the current group of players. It's not the coaches. This team's good, but they're not good enough. So there's a lot of people I think that want to join the show. But before we get into that, let me tell you about some other important people in this program. And one of those people, one of those people would be Audi Westchester. Audi Westchester's got some great deals going on in November. We don't have much time left in November. 3.99% financing up to 72 months on the new remodeled A5 and the A5 sedan. If that's not good enough for you, and I don't know why it's not, how about 1.99% financing up to 72 months on the Q5 SUV, which is a very popular car? You go into Audi Westchester, 1421 Wilmington Pike. You work out your deal on whatever vehicle you want. It doesn't have to be those vehicles. Work out your deal and then say, I want the Claudio 500 and get another $500 off the price that you've already negotiated with the terrific salespeople over at Audi Westchester. Fun people, nice place, great selection of vehicles, got a great selection. Nice deals. Grab a cup of coffee, grab some snacks, but you got some great deals going on. Audi Westchester. I don't know why you wouldn't. And I'm going to pop over there today on this. Yesterday was Black Friday, but people I'm sure were either at or watching the Eagles game. Today should be a nice day over at Audi Westchester, 1421 Wilmington Pike. Check it all out, AudiWestchester.com. And also another fine sponsor of this program, Piazza Property Pros. And Piazza Property Pros, and we talk about building a pool, we talk about doing your backyard. They just don't do backyards. They do front yards too. And they do a great job of rebuilding. So when your friends walk into your house, they say, boy, this is impressive. Boy, this is really nice. Piazza Property Pros does both the front yard and the backyard. Yep. They really can make it happen. 25 years of experience. They specialize in turning that vision you have into a reality. Yeah, well, you can do pools, but you can do front yard. You can, remodel your front yard, or they can do it. Excavation, hardscaping, landscaping, pool maintenance. Piazza Property Pros, 610-566-2608, or check it out at piazzaoutdoor.com. All right. Let's start with the many issues. Kevin Petullo is not the problem. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I've talked to over the last few days. Oh, they got to get rid of Kevin Petullo. I says, do you ever look at the players? Will you stop idolizing and kissing the ass of the players? You ever look at the players? There's some things there that really they're issues, whether it's the offense that hasn't had a consistent game and I don't know how long. It's just unbelievable. And then they give up 281 yards. The defense gives up 281 yards rushing. I'm going to break it to you gently. I see somebody here. People blaming Petullo don't know football. Obviously, they don't know football. I'm going to break it to you gently. Many fans in Philadelphia are idiots and morons and dopes. Throw it all in there. Idiots, morons, and dopes. Understand what's going on here. When the Eagles are not plus in the turnover battle, they don't win the game. That means the offense is not generated enough because that's how they've won a lot of games. When they're not plus in turnovers, they don't win. They were minus. Chicago was +2 yesterday against the Eagles, 3-1. Eagles don't normally fumble, but they have, with their offense, they have no room for error, and it's not the coaches. Although I will say this, Nick Sirianni did make a mistake yesterday, but I don't think it would have changed the outcome of the game. I don't believe he should have gone for 2 when he went for 2. You wait till the last score to give your team a chance You give your team a chance to think they can at least tie the game if you're only down by 8. Should have kicked the extra point. And I don't blame Jake Elliott on the 50. It was a 50-some yard field goal with the wind the way it was. Missing an extra point is inexcusable. And that changed a little bit of the thing. But the offense needs to score more points. Fans have to stop blaming the coaches. This is such an overreaction. You've got to look at the players. I mentioned Nick Sirianni, his mistake. I don't know what other mistakes, but it wouldn't have changed. He shouldn't have gone for 2 when he went for 2. I see Steve W. Nick's stone cold idiot. No, he's not. And Nick Sirianni is a good coach. Players aren't good enough. They're just not good enough. AJ Brown identified something yesterday without identifying something yesterday. Let's hear from AJ Brown from after the game yesterday. Listen to what he says closely.
I think lack of execution. Like today I had another penalty. Stuff like that can't happen. So.
Are guys getting schemed open enough?
Yeah.
So then why is it the pass offense?
Execution.
Okay, 2 key words there, or 2 key words. Execution. Execution is not there. But when somebody said or asked him, are receivers open? It was a 1-word answer. What's he saying there? I think you know what he's saying there. Jalen Hurts has got to be better. And he's had to be better when the Eagles can't run the ball successfully. And that's the problem right now. I had a message on one of my social media posts after the game when I posted sound bites. Well, they got to run the ball more. But they're not successful running the ball. So when it's 3rd and 8, you're not going to run the ball. All right. People just, oh my God, some of the people are just stone cold idiots. All right. Let's go and hear from you. And we have somebody, I think, new to the program, and that would be Dom. Dom, what's up? Well, hey, Dom, can you hear me? Oh, this is not okay. Let me just put this. I'm going to put a full screen up here. I'm going to put something up here. You got to allow. You see where that when it says would like to access the microphone and camera, it says allow. Allow that. Now, if you don't want the camera, you can there's a camera icon at the bottom of that, and you can cross that out if you don't want the camera, but you got to leave the audio. All right. You got to leave the audio. All right. Let's, I don't know how to make it any simpler, but all right, let's go. Is there somebody else up there, George? I'm sure there is. There's a bunch of people up there. Hey, George,
Howard,
what's happening?
I'm standing in line at the airport heading to St. Bart's and St. Martin, so I'm going to give you a chat.
Okay, well,
and it's really, I'm really making people feel stupid. It's real easy to do this, guys. I'm doing it in an airport line.
I know. It's just, you think it's easy? Not for, hey, wait a minute. We're talking about Eagles fans here. We're talking about Eagles fans.
Howard, bottom line, this comes down to Jalen Hurts, and I think he's not doing his progressions on the field. Just seeing some tapes and stuff. He's got to play better. He's got to play better, and I think
really. Well, I mean, how long have I said that?
You have been. I know. I'm repeating a broken cycle.
And AJ Brown has implied that without naming names. I think it's pretty clear what he's talking about.
I agree, and the offensive line is injured, but they played pretty terrible, and the defense yesterday just absolutely got lit up. I mean, Chicago was running basic 101 football.
Wait a minute, George. Yes. The defense the last game gave up 450 yards.
I get it.
They gave up 450 yards.
They gave up over 250 yards on the ground and 2 running backs over 125 yesterday. That was just
281 yards on the ground
crazy.
they gave up yesterday.
Crazy. They just got outplayed totally. Look, I said 11-6. We talked about it at the beginning of the year. They're on that pace. They're on that pace of 11.
What you hope they're on that pace.
Oh,
You hope they're
oh,
on
here
it.
we go.
And to show you how much quarterback rating, all these nitwits and morons. Oh, Jalen Hurts had a perfect quarterback rating. Who gives a flying bleep? It's a joke. Caleb Williams did a nice job. His quarterback rating was 56.9, and they won the game easily.
Correct.
I mean, give me a break. Give me a break. It means nothing. Will you stop with the MVP voting? Will you stop with the he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks? Stop with all this bullshit and just face reality. He needs to be better. And I'm not sure with what this team is right now that he can be as good as he needs to be.
He has to be because he's not doing his progressions. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, there's guys wide open. I mean, I listen to Seth Joyner a lot, and he's on target. He's on target. He's like you a little bit with
Oh, wait a minute. He defended the quarterback for weeks. He defended
he's changing his tune now.
Oh, yeah, because it's Seth Joyner. He knows everything. All right. He defended the quarterback because he wanted to kiss his ass. I mean, stop
He's
already.
changing his tune. I listened to him last night after the game because I like listening to everybody, and he's changing his tune.
Well, don't you think it's about time? They're 4-4 in the last 8 games. 4-4 in the last 8 games.
I get it. I mean, I get it. They got to play better, man. And at Dallas, I mean, just basically what they did to Kansas City. Here come the Cowboys, I hate to say.
Okay, I'm going to say something which is going to piss off people some more. First of all, I got to ask you, you're bringing your Oakley glasses that you won to St. Bart's?
Howard, the Oakley glasses are in here. My girlfriend will tell you, they're in here, brother.
Okay, all right. I'm going to say something which is going to piss people off. The Cowboys right now.
That's Maria.
Okay, hi, Maria. The Cowboys right now, I think, are a better team than the Eagles. Right now.
You're going to make somebody happy that's going to call you probably today.
No, he's working today. He's working
today.
Yeah. But the Cowboys right now, because their offense is clearly better. We know that.
Oh, they are.
And their defense got better, and put those two things together, I think they might be better than the Eagles.
Go.
Hey, wait a minute. If the Cowboys and the Eagles played each other in a neutral field, do you think the Eagles would win the game?
No, and I got all the Cowboy people that come out of the woodwork after they beat the Eagles this
week. Hey, I'm not trying to make them happy. But come on.
It is what it is, Howard. You're calling it what it is. You know what I mean? You got to call it what it is.
It is what it is. It is correct.
What it is, brother.
All right, George, you have a safe flight. Enjoy
I'll listen to you on Wednesday.
Okay, I'll be there. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's really not hard.
It's really easy. Go into Safari and dial it. I'm dialing in line here. Really
okay. All right. Some of the comments here. Take care, George, and you and your Maria have a good time. Dak is way better than Jalen. That's Max Puppy 96. Cowboys are going to win the division. I don't think so, Austin. Somebody else would. Keith Long Live Broadcasting. It's a long name. Well, at least they are playing better than us, as much as I hate to admit it. Well, at least doesn't make any difference. Joyner also all of a sudden called Eagles the comedy of errors. Seth, where you been? Hey, where you been, Seth? You're such an expert. Where the bleep have you been? This is not just yesterday. They're 4-4 in the last 8 games. It's just, oh my God. Somebody said the Bears got lucky. KZ 199. They didn't get lucky. The Eagles need to score points to put the teams on their heels. And who's that? _backup. We ride at dawn. Well, you're riding with the king. Now replying to Herb Austin, they lost their offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. He's now a head coach. A lost defensive lineman and Darius Slay. That's not the problem. Losing Kellen Moore is not the problem. Not being able to run the ball successfully the way they did last year is the problem. And that means Jalen Hurts has got to throw the ball more. It's not Kevin Patullo. Stop with he needs to be fired. And Nick Sirianni addressed that yesterday as well. All right. Oh boy, you people. There's a lot more to talk about, and we'll have more of your nonsense and bullshit when you're defending what this team is right now. I'm going to also give you the winner of the Mike Schmidt figurine after we talk to Mark Lawrence and take a look at the weekend football. And to help us do that, Mark, how are you today? I know you're better than Eagles fan.
I'm doing a lot better than the Eagles fans, Howard, it seems right now.
They didn't take long to boo yesterday, which is not uncommon for these fans, but they don't get it. They don't understand. It's just when you have to throw the ball, it's a little challenging for this football team right now. It really is a little challenging, and it's just and they have to throw the ball because they're not able to run the ball. I
Well,
mean,
Jalen Hurts was never a passing quarterback, even in college. So I
well,
don't.
yeah, I don't know what his college numbers were, but in college, quarterback can run a lot more than he can in the NFL.
He looked uncomfortable under center at Alabama, uh, having to throw the football, and he hasn't really progressed that way with the Eagles. The only good news for the Philadelphia Eagles that I see here, Howard, is that they do own the tiebreaker against Dallas should they tie for the division.
They own the tiebreaker.
Yes, they do right now.
Well, yeah, but they split with the Cowboys, so I guess it comes down to
Down to
division
the
and
down to the head to head in the two games. Yes,
well, the head to head they split.
they split, but the score margins,
Oh,
the
okay.
margins of victory.
That's the next tiebreaker, the score margins.
The margins of victory, correct.
Wow, but the Eagles only okay. Let me break that down. I hate to The Eagles lost to Dallas. What they lose to Dallas? Oh, they lost by 3.
And
They
the
lost by
other
3
game was
both
by
times.
four.
What was
First game was
24?
24 to 20.
Oh, 24 to 20. I thought it was 24-21. Okay. 1 point's going to decide the tiebreaker. Oh, that's a joke. Hey, it's not, they don't have to worry about that. They have to worry about who they're going to play in the playoffs. That's what they have to worry about. And winning the division would be better for them because they won't play the Rams until the conference championship if it comes down to that, I would think. If they win well, no, they wouldn't because the Bears, if the Bears have a better record and win the division, which is hard to imagine, they have a better record and win the division, then they wouldn't play the Rams until the last game either. The Eagles would have to play the Rams beforehand. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. The Eagles have to play better right now. They really have to play better right now. And to give up 900 yards of offense to the opposition in the last 2 games is mind-boggling. All right, well, let's take a look at the football this weekend, and we'll get to the Eagles. They don't play until next Monday. Chargers aren't as good, so they get a break there. I thought the Chargers would be better, and then they are. If they lose to the Chargers, then they're really, really in trouble. Even though it's on the road. All right, who do you like in college football?
Well, this is what I would call last chance saloon for some of these college football teams playing today. They have 5 wins. They need 6 to become bowl eligible. But there's a little stronger advantage to playing some of these 5-win teams when they're coming off a loss as a favorite in their previous game. When they were expected to win that 6th game but didn't, now it's the last chance time back to the wall. There's 2 such teams in the card today, and I think you're going to get maximum efforts from each of them. The first is Florida State taking on the Florida Gators, taking a point or a point and a half Florida State in the football game. They've dominated Florida when Florida State has owned the better record. 10-1 the last 11 head-to-head matchups going in that way. And there's maybe arguably no more disappointing team in college football this year than the Florida Gators. Florida State's had a down year, but if you take a look at and you put tape over the names of these teams, you would insist that Florida State was a 10-point favorite in this football game. Statistically, they've only been outyarded by 1 opponent so far this football season here. Much the better offense, much the better defense. I have to take the points with Florida State as the first play.
All right, who else do you like?
The other one's going to be Arkansas State over in the Sun Belt Conference. A little bit of a nondescript team, but they go in here with triple revenge against Appalachian State, who's falling apart at the seams as we're speaking right now. They've been soundly out-yarded each of the last 4 games in a row has Appalachian State, yet they're still laying 3.5 points to Arkansas State, who has much the better statistics. Give me Arkansas State plus the 1.5 in that game as well. Another last chance saloon type play for Arkansas State.
You know what? Yesterday, Texas beats Texas A&M, so Texas A&M is not going to probably play in the conference championship, right? Okay, isn't that better for them not playing? Because that could be another loss. Isn't it better not to play in the conference
I
championship?
think that's a valid point. They work their way into a championship game, lose that, and then they get discarded. They get kicked to the curb because they didn't win the conference championship game, which is really a farce for all the work that they did all season long.
I know.
They're better off here not having to take that loss and move forward with just one loss in the season here. So I think it is better for A&M to be sitting on the sideline in this championship game, no question.
You know, and that's one of the things. Now, I'm looking at some of the other teams. Who are the teams that need to win the to win their or to get into the conference championship? Alabama would be one of them, correct?
Alabama needs a win to make the conference championship. They're going to have their hands filled, though, against Auburn today. And this is the spot where Auburn really rises to the occasion in this Iron Bowl matchup here as a home underdog when nobody gives them much chance. This is not an overwhelming, overpowering Alabama team by any means. And you have Auburn struggling here. They need a win to become bowl eligible. Does Auburn here? I think this game's got upset written all over it.
So you like Auburn plus the points,
Yes, I do.
which is now 4.5. You know what's interesting? If Alabama wins and they play in the conference championship and they lose, they'd have 3 losses and likely wouldn't be in the playoff picture.
Howard, I don't think any team with 3 losses is going to make the football playoffs
No.
this year. Not one. Not one. It doesn't matter who it is or no excuse. 3 losses, you don't make the playoff. It's just that simple. And they'll discard any 3-loss team. So if Alabama loses, adios, they're gone as well.
And another farce in college football is Notre Dame not being in a conference and not having to play a conference championship game. I mean, it's so that the hypocrisy that exists in college football is a complete farce. It really is. It's not about winning. It's about money, and that's what it comes down to.
You know, if Notre Dame were in a conference, Howard, and it came down to a tiebreaker type situation for the bowl committee, they'd probably be booted as well because of their strength of schedule. They play just patsies. So no conference patsy schedules here. It doesn't make a lot of sense for Notre Dame. And so they rub out these patsies. They keep doing it week after week. But all that matters here is the fact that they're not conference affiliated and not playing a tough schedule.
Okay, I'm going to look at a game that's really kind of irrelevant for most people. If Delaware wins today, Delaware would be a 6-win team. I guess somewhere they deserve a little credit. Somewhere they could probably get in a bowl game with 6 wins because
Well,
they'll look
the
the
only
bowl.
way they're going to make a bowl with that 6th win is if they cannot fill enough bowl slots because this is their first year of eligibility in the FBS. You know, they
Right.
made that step up. So they're not allowed to technically be eligible for a
Oh,
bowl
really?
game.
Oh, okay.
But they'll take them if they don't have enough slots to fill the bowl games. That'll be the default. And they'll either take them or they'll take Missouri State, who has the better record than Delaware does. But nonetheless, you know that Delaware is coming to play just on the off chance that they are becoming get to be that fill-in team.
That might be a side. Delaware's a 4.5 point
I agree.
favorite. That might be a side in that game. And then there's other teams. Does Army have any reason to play today with Navy on deck next week?
No, they don't. And you know, the fact of the matter is, it is Navy on deck next week, and we'll talk about this next week when they come to play. But that's going to be a real juicy spot for Army in that football game, where Navy sits right now involved in this conference pairing right now. They have a possibility of being that group of 5 team. Does Navy? They're coming off that big, huge upset underdog win. I think Army's going to look more forward to Navy than they are the game today. It doesn't matter to Army today.
Okay. I would not. Remember last week I told you to take the 54 and a half? They covered. Samford covered. You can't lay 54 and a half. All right. Today, however, Notre Dame is a 31 and a half point favorite at Stanford. Stanford had a big win last week against Cal. You think Stanford really is going to be up for this game, even though it's Notre Dame? And Notre Dame just tries to roll up the points. I would let. I don't like. I wouldn't lay 31 and a half. But if I took a side in that game, I'd have to take Notre Dame because that's what they do. They just want to roll up points.
Well, just the fact that you mentioned the fact that Stanford comes off that big rivalry win over California as it is makes it difficult to back Stanford in a game like this. And the Notre Dame having this reputation for just beating up the Patsies. I agree with you. You cannot back Stanford in this football game. And again, I can't lay 30 points to anybody anywhere in any game, but I certainly would not get sucked into Stanford in this game.
All right, one more college football question, and I think it's sad. Somehow, there's got to be a way to prevent Lane Kiffin from taking another job. How can a coach who really has a chance? I don't think they're going to win a national championship. They have a chance. I mean, the two best teams are clearly the two best teams atop the in the polls. They're the two best teams. It's Ohio State and Indiana. But you got a chance. You're going to make the play. You're going to make the college football playoffs. And if Lane Kiffin takes another job because the other school needs him to start recruiting, and that's really why he would leave early, he won't coach. He won't coach this game. I mean, actually, they have a conference championship game they could play in too. If he takes another job, he wouldn't coach that either, right?
Well, that would tell you what kind of a person Lane Kiffin is if he decides to opt out at that point. There's another college football coach, Eric Morris. He signed already for to step up in a new job to a Power Four conference, and he's going to coach his football team all the way out. That speaks for the coach, and I don't think Lane Kiffin worries a lick about his team. I think he's more worried about Lane Kiffin and his numbers and his bank account. And I agree with you. I'm not a Lane Kiffin by any way, shape, or form. Am I a Lane Kiffin fan?
Well, the school that he would go to is a big school, and they want to start recruiting. You can't leave because if he leaves, and they probably have some players that may be first round picks, they probably have some good players. Who's to say that they don't leave and just say, "Hey, listen, I'm not playing in the ball game because my coach isn't here," just so they don't get hurt.
We've had the same similar situation in college bowls. It was the last year or the year
I
before.
think it was last year. Yeah.
Yeah, where the team just walked out. I mean, they just have barely enough players to fill the roster to make to fill the bowl slot because the players opted to leave as well. So it's really a sad situation for college football if they allow him to do that. But you can't. I guess you can't make a man do something, coach a game that he doesn't want to be at.
Well, yeah, but he can't. If he can't announce he can't take another job. There
Right.
should be something in the contract that, hey, listen, we know you're going to leave if you get a better job, but you cannot allow the coach to leave before the season is over. It just, but the NCAA has no power anymore. It's
No, they
it's
don't.
it's insulting and
They're a
disgraceful.
non-governing body, but wouldn't the simplest thing, Howard, be for an NCAA rule to be that no coach can leave any program until the bowl season is over?
Well, but we just said you just said it. The
Yeah,
NCAA has no power.
right.
It has no power. I don't even know if they'll be around anymore. The power conferences will govern it themselves. They'll get somebody. They'll get the five of the power conferences to have their own NCAA and say, NCAA, take a hike. See you later. You
Then
can
we'll
do
have a
what you want.
32 team playoff is what we'll have at that point. Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
right. Exactly right. All right, let's take a look at pro football, and it's not a great card.
Oh,
It's an ugly card. Well, you had 4 games that aren't going to be played on. Well, actually 5 if you count Monday Night Football. But you have 4 games that aren't going to be played because of Thanksgiving and Black Friday, so the NFL can get another uh, some more money with a Black Friday game on Prime or whatever the hell it was on. By the way, I don't like Kirk Herbstreit. I like him in his analysis of college football. I think he's such an ass kisser when he does the color on the games, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time to listen to Kirk Herbstreit. But that being aside, who do you like in pro football?
Well, we've had so far 4 NFL games played to date. All 4 underdogs win each game straight up as underdogs. And I think that's going to continue to end up being an underdog week in the National Football League this week. With that,
Well, yeah, 'cause I guess the Detroit game, it was the underdog.
yes,
The Baltimore game was the underdog. And what was the other game?
the Green Bay Packers when Detroit was one. We
Uh,
had Dallas winning strip, and we had Cincinnati beating
oh,
Baltimore.
yeah, right. Yeah,
That's the
and
first,
Kansas
first,
City shouldn't have been favored. That's just on reputation only. They should not have been
first time
favored.
ever, Thanksgiving Day, all 3 underdogs won the game outright.
Wow, that really is amazing. And then they won it yesterday. The underdog won
Yes.
yesterday as a
Yep.
7-point dog. Two
Yep.
7-point dogs won the game outright.
Yep. We're gonna be
Cincinnati.
talking about how the dogs bark next week in the National Football League. I think it's going to continue this weekend as well because the card is so weak and so poor. There's not a lot of good matchups with good football teams this weekend.
Okay, so who do you like?
I'm going to fade 2 favorites that again are leaking oil. It's on my favorite play against situations where you're not playing well, you're being outstatted, yet you're favored in a football game. Number one, I'm going to fade Tampa Bay, who is really, really needs a win like blood. This football team has been out here at 6 games in a row, has Tampa Bay, and they're in danger right now of falling out of a seating in the NFL football playoffs. You got a quarterback in Baker Mayfield, who, if he does play, is not going to be 100%. And
Hmm.
you have a team in Arizona who does nothing but play close call football games. 6 of their
Hmm.
losses are by 1 score or less. I like Arizona plus the 3.5, and I think they can take Tampa Bay out straight up on the field.
Yeah, if Baker Mayfield plays, he's still not going to be
No,
100%.
he's not. Exactly.
No. And so who else do you like?
The other guy is going to be maybe a little harder to like, but for all the right reasons, I'm going to take New Orleans plus the 5.5
Oh,
against Miami.
it is Miami, so I guess it's
It
not.
is Miami, exactly. But go back and look at New Orleans 2 games ago. They win the football game by 10 points. They won by 200 yards in the stats. They come back last week and played Atlanta dead even in the stats. This team has not even come close to raising the white flag, New Orleans. They're just a bad football team who has not yet thrown in the towel. And yet you've got Miami as a favorite here by default because they're playing New Orleans. I don't think the Dolphins are worthy of laying points to anybody. Give me New Orleans plus the points here.
I think Atlanta's pretty much out of any playoff
Yes, they
picture.
are.
Okay.
Yep.
So they're laying points. The Jets suck, but they gotten a tiny bit better. Would you, if you had to take a side in that game, would you like the Jets?
If I had to take a side, I would like the Jets, yes. But to have to go out and say that that's going to be my biggest play for today, I'd rather jump off a ledge. I really would.
Well, go to New York. There's plenty of ledges up there. Yeah, and that's where they are. They're playing in New York. Yeah, when you look at the card, I kind of like San Francisco a little bit because I think all that excitement last week, and I don't think you agree with this, all that excitement last week with Shador Sanders, I think it's got to wear off a little bit. And I think San Francisco will know how to defend Shador Sanders. He didn't have a great day passing, but they won the game. But they were playing the Raiders. They were playing the Raiders.
Yeah, and he did show some skill. He did. Sanders did. Not overall a great game, but he still won the football game. And there was so much hype in Cleveland about him winning and snapping a 17-year or 17-game losing streak. First rookie to ever win a start for the Browns. But I think I'm with you. I think Cleveland does come back to reality here. This offense is theirs is not very good anyway. San Francisco's defense can be stifling. The Browns' defense is the only thing they bring to the table here, and you've got a good team in San Francisco that needs a win. The Browns don't need anything other than maybe to hope to get the number 1 pick in the draft. I think San Francisco wins comfortably.
Why does it look so easy to take Denver, even though they're laying 5.5 on the road against Washington? Washington's brutal, but somehow it looks too easy to take Denver. Do you like a side in that game?
Well, you've got an 8-game win streak for Denver. They're really on a roll right now. They've only been out-aired 1 time in those 8 games. So what they're doing is legitimate. There's no question. You've also got them coming off a bye week. So you got a lot of check marks here to the Denver Broncos side of the football game. Uh, I'm not going to hurry up to get there. It's the only side I would play would be Denver because Washington is really going through the motions right now without Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to play this week. I
No,
don't
I don't
think
think he is
he
either.
might play against the Eagles. They play. It's the third game before the end of the season. I think it's Christmas weekend.
Yeah, that would be
Uh,
the Eagles' luck. Yes, to have him come back.
yeah, right. I don't even without him the way the Eagles can't score points. I don't know. Uh, I guess I thought that the Eagles. Well, I didn't think the Eagles would change offensively, but the fact that they're playing a team in a short week on the road. That was embarrassing yesterday. You know, I'll tell you another team, and using your term, but I like the term. I've used it occasionally, not as much as you. Another team maybe leaking oil are the Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
Damn, their defense just is brutal. Would you like the Pittsburgh Steelers in that game?
I do, largely because not so much that Buffalo is leaking oil; they're not playing good football. I agree, but this defense is horrible to the rush. They give up 5.5 yards a carry to the rush, and you cannot do that. Lay points on the road with a leaky rush defense like they have as well here. This is a big, big game for Pittsburgh here. You know, Buffalo can still hang around because they'll be in second place in the NFC East by default. There's nobody else behind them to threaten them. I think this is a huge game for Pittsburgh, and I think they come up straight up in this game and win the game.
Yeah, and then even Monday night's not a good game because the Giants are kind of mailing it in. Although they have a coach that's trying to, I think someday Mike Kafka will be a head coach in the NFL. I know Mike from his time with the Eagles, but I just don't know how they can stay with the Patriots. The Patriots got lucky last week, and maybe they learned their lesson. If I did anything, I would take the Patriots on Monday night.
I would too. This football team, you have to give them their due. I mean, they're the hottest team in the National Football League. They've earned everything they've gotten. They have a bye week coming up after this. This would be a huge win for them to get to the bye week on this streak. And there's no case I can make for the Giants other than a surprise or an upset or something to that effect. I don't think it happens here. I think New England continues their winning ways.
Okay, one last question. Next week, the Eagles on Monday night play at the Chargers. And I think because of the way that these things are done, the Eagles are going to be the favorite against the Chargers after going 4-4 in their last 8 games and losing the last two. Would you agree with that?
I think the Eagles will open up the favorite here. Vegas still looks at the power ratings of the teams and not so much of what you've done for me here lately, like the egg they just laid against the Bears. But they look at the football team from a power rating standpoint. And the Chargers have their own problems. Their offensive line is absolutely in threads right now. So it's a good chance for the Eagles defense to end up shoring up here. I think the Eagles will open up a 1 or a 2 point favorite in the game. Yes.
It's just it's amazing that they would be the favorite losing two in a row, but on the road. At home, I understand, but it will be interesting to see when that number comes out. Probably come out Sunday night. If anybody has interested in your services, Mark, 800-321-7777 or on the internet at playbooksports.com. Mark, you continue to have a great Thanksgiving weekend. Go Eagles. Oh, wait a minute. The Eagles lost. It's terrible. It's terrible that I'm rubbing it in. But nonetheless, have a great
You have
week.
all week to do that, Howard. You have all week to do that.
All right. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next week.
Enjoy the game. Thanks,
All
Howard. Be
right.
well. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Take care. I see a comment here that, what's it? Eagle. Boy, you guys have Eagle has landed is the your screen name. Greg Cosell, Nick Foles. I'm glad Nick Foles has joined in. And Chris Long said the play calling is high school like. Well, why don't they address the issue? Maybe you have to call those plays because of the quarterback. And if they could run the ball, it'd be different. It wasn't any different last year, except they were successful at running the football. Offensive line was better, and the running back was clearly better last year in Saquon Barkley. It's just why can't anybody and these guys know football, obviously, but high school like. Do you think that's the coach's fault, or you think See the coach, and well, I'm going to get into that shortly. The coaches, and the quarterback have a meeting each week, and you discuss what he likes. Uh, and obviously, if he is uncomfortable with something, um, uh, it's just whatever. So whatever. It's going to be. It will be interesting. I see a comment here. Does Mark Lawrence know that the Cowboys have a tie? I'm sure he does, but the Eagles could, if they tie. He said, and the Cowboys tie would probably prevent a tie in the division if they tie. That's what he said. So I understand what he said. All right, let me give you the winner of our prize from last week, and we will have a question. Um, um, the winner of the Mike Schmidt figurine, Bill Ennis. Bill, you win and the question was for two shows because I didn't expect to do a Wednesday show, but I needed to do it because of what happened. Mark Lawrence's comments last week about Temple, and the question that I thought was a stupid media question to Tyrese Maxey, which was really stupid. Is one of your goals to win the MVP? I mean, the media people, the dumbest questions come out now because they have nothing to ask. And it happens a lot of times in live news conferences that are posted on social media because they just want to hear their voices. But the winner, Bill, congratulations. That is actually signed by Mike Schmidt. And it's a nice collectible. This week, we will have a question, and the winner will receive a Chickies and Pete's gift certificate. So answer the question, email your answer to the contact page at howardeskin.com by midnight, Tuesday, December 2nd. Watch the show on Wednesday at 7:30, live on Facebook, live on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can find the show on all the platforms. YouTube, I know, notifies you when the show comes on live. So if you would like to subscribe, do so, and you'll be notified. Winners will be chosen at random from all the correct entries. All right. I also want to thank our presenting sponsor, Jeff Stillwell, Stillwell Financial Advisors. You you really need to know what to do with your wealth, your money, and Jeff Stillwell can help you, will help you. 732 343 0813. 732 343 0813. And as long as we're in the month of November, there's a deal right now, a deal at Audi Westchester. Yep. 3.9, you see it right there, 3.99% financing up to 72 months on the new remodeled A5, the A5 sedan as well. And then it gets better with 1.99% financing up to 72 months on the Q5 SUV, a very popular vehicle. Go in 1421 Wilmington Pike, Audi Westchester, work out your deal, and then say to the salesperson, I want the Claudio 500. After you work out your deal, I want the Claudio 500, and you get another 500 off. It's a fun place, lots of inventory, great people. Grab a cup of coffee, grab some snacks. You can do it. I believe today being Saturday, if you're watching this live, I will stop out there, say hello to the people that are there, say hello to the people at Audi Westchester. Check it all out, AudiWestchester.com. And you want to do some nice things to the outside of your home. Yeah, you can do it. And Piazza Property Pros can help you do that. And they can help you do it because they don't just remodel and fix up the outside, the back of your yard. They can fix up the front of your yard too and make it look really, really special. You can do a lot of things if you get in touch with Piazza Property Pros with their 25 years of experience. Good people, great work. They don't subcontract. I've told you all these things. Yeah, you can still decide on whether you want a pool. You can get pool maintenance, landscaping, excavation, whatever it is. Call Piazza Property Pros, and get a free consultation. 610-566-2608. That's 610-566-2608 or piazzaoutdoor.com. All right. I addressed that comment. So I guess he saw Greg Cosell, Nick Foles, and Chris Long in different places, high school like. Well, has anybody ever thought that it could be because that's the plays that they're confident the quarterback will run and they don't think he will be successful with other plays? There's a reason for that. What do you think? These guys all of a sudden turned into these coaches all of a sudden turned into idiots? It's just going to be here a short time because early music practice. Lloyd, Eagles need to get it together and fast. Coach Sirianni and his fellas need to put together a solid game plan. They put the game plan that can be executed by the offense. But let's look at the defense the last two games. I think Vic Fangio is a terrific defensive coordinator. But if you're going to blame coaches, and that's what fans like to do a lot of, if you're going to blame coaches, then you got to blame Nick Fangio. And I don't want to blame him, but the defense is really struggling. 900 yards total offense in the last two games. That's not pretty. The running game, the opposition's running game has killed the Eagles. 281 yards the Bears ran against the Eagles. 281 yards. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. I think there's somebody on the line. And is Jim still on the line there, Joe? All right, Jim, you ready?
Yep. Hey, how are you?
Good, Jim. I'm just, hey, I've never had a bad day in my life, but I know Eagles fans had bad moments.
Yeah, I mean, sitting there yesterday, I mean, that was just pathetic and terrible. I mean, the bigger thing is, like, you blow the 21-point lead the week before. You're playing at home versus a team on a short league, and they looked like they didn't even want to be there. There was no fire. The guys are walking around. They can't tackle for crap. Cindy Brown, if you watch Cindy Brown, I don't know if you saw him on TV, he's terrible. And then, as bad as it looked, and you're talking about
who? If I watch who?
Cindy Brown.
Oh, Sydney, yeah. Well, they have an injury, so you know, Sydney is a very physical player and a really great guy, but he makes mental mistakes. He does make
also he would have given up 2 touchdown passes, but Caleb Williams threw bad passes. And the Bears, they killed the Eagles. There's no denying that, but they left you in the game because of their mistakes in the first half. The first drive, he got stopped on the 4th and 1. And then, like, their second and third drive, they had a 70-yard drive down to the Eagles' 10, and they ran the ball down the field. And then when they got inside the 10, they threw 3 straight incompletions instead of getting a touchdown, which they probably would have. You're only down 10-3, and you're sitting there at 10-9 in the fourth quarter, and you get the INT. I mean, the tackling was terrible. I know the defensive line's getting pushed back into him. I mean, but you really haven't heard much from Zach Bond this year. But he can only be as good as the defensive line is in front of him.
Well, I think Zach Bond has played well. I think he leads the league in leads something in tackles or whatever. That's I can't. I'm not going to blame Zach Bond.
But here's the other thing.
I'm going to blame. Is Jalen Carter? Have you heard his name many times?
Carter's mom and family, Davis's mom and family, always sit in our section. They're sitting there cheering when their sons make a tackle when they're getting their butts kicked up and down the field. It's whatever. But you know what?
And Jalen Carter is supposed to be a stud too.
You know what's disappointing? The Bears had the 27th rush defense going into yesterday. They're missing all 3 starting linebackers and their top backup.
I know. How about that?
Carter, or like the passes to the running back. Where was that?
The problem, the Eagles' biggest problem on offense is their offensive line is not as good.
Yeah, I mean, Landon Dickerson.
Saquon Barkley's not as good. So when you can't run the ball, you expose the quarterback a little bit more to do more things. And I see there's a comment here Jalen is dynamic when he's running. Either the organization took it away or he's pulling a McNabb. Here's the problem. The defense, the other teams don't let him do as much of that. So things, things are different. Things are different, and defenses. A lot of teams aren't stupid. There's teams that aren't stupid, but it's just, and you got to accept that
And
teams.
here's the other thing. You're talking about Dallas coming up, and they're right on the Eagles' heels. I looked at the schedules. If Dallas is going to Detroit this week, but Detroit's missing its tight end, and they're going to be missing their big receiver,
Yeah.
Brown. Dallas wins that game. The Eagles lose to the Chargers. I mean, long story short, I have Dallas probably winning the division at 11-5-1, and the Eagles going 11-6.
Well, if Dallas goes 11-5-1, that means they win the rest of the games this season, right?
Well, they've got the Giants, they've got the Redskins, they got Minnesota, and then they have the Chargers, but they have the Chargers at home.
Yeah, so they have. So if they win this game, they could win the rest of the games this season.
And don't forget, the Eagles do you really think this Eagles offense is going to go to Buffalo the second last week of the season?
Yeah, that's the other thing. That's a tough game. The Chargers, I don't think is going to be as tough. Buffalo, if they can't run against Buffalo, Buffalo's rush defense sucks. If they can't run the ball against Buffalo, they really have issues. So that's going to be. I think the Washington game, if Daniels is back, that first game against Washington, that might be their final hurrah. The Washington team. I can't call them the Commanders. It's such a stupid name, but whatever. That might be their final hurrah, and they might play a great game.
And you were talking about Lane Kiffin and what he's doing. You know,
Yes.
he was making calls trying to line up a potential coaching staff at LSU. How is he allowed to do that? And then
Wait a minute. I didn't see that. I don't know if it's correct, but I did not see that.
I'm sure it is. The guy. Well, if you remember, no, this is going back a ways. About 15 years ago, he got a huge contract to coach the University of Tennessee,
Mhm.
and he jumped out of there and went to USC after like 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, it's just not right. You can't leave before the. Hey, listen, if you want to leave after the season, even though you have a contract, and they all do it, that's one thing. But you can't leave before the end of the season, before your games are finished, and they're going to be in a bowl game.
And their interim coach, they already said if he leaves. Remember the Giants coach Joe Judge? That's who would be coaching the team. Remember he was the head coach of the Giants like 5 or 6 years
I remember
ago?
him. Joe Judge is from Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Joe Judge. We've met because he knew me because he was from Philadelphia. Yeah, but he was not a good head coach.
And here's the other problem with the Eagles, and you really noticed it the last like couple games, and it all goes back to their offensive line and them not being able to run the ball. Last year, I mean, even all 3-4 years that Nick's been here, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, they're probably running the ball. The last 2 weeks, they've had probably a half dozen 3rd and 3s and less, and they're friggin' throwing the ball.
But let's look at the reason for that.
Because they can't run it.
That's correct. They can't run it. It's not like they don't want to call the play. They can't.
But they're not
run
trying.
the ball
They're not even trying.
Well, they've tried. They know what the problem. You try to get a first down, and if you feel your chances of running for a first down aren't good, then you got to try to do something. Quarterback's got to make. Are you going to tell me the quarterback can't if there's open receivers? And I played AJ Brown's comment from after the game earlier. Did you hear it?
Yeah, I saw.
Where he said, somebody said, "Are receivers open?" One word answer: yes.
And Barkley said the same. He said the same.
Yeah, Barkley's kind of a little less. You can read through the lines.
How many more years do they have Hurts for?
Well, next year they have to pay him. I don't think the year after they have to pay him. I think one more year of big money, and then I don't know what it is in the final year. But yeah, hey, listen, they got rid of Carson Wentz when he was making a lot of money, but they're not. They got to get a quarterback, and I don't think they're prepared to make Tanner McKee the quarterback. Although I've said I think he's fundamentally better than Jalen Hurts. I really believe that. But they're not going to. They're not going to sit. They're not going to sit Jalen Hurts.
I just think this team. I just think this team. When they get to the play, they're not doing anything in the playoffs. They're just not fundamentally good enough in
Oh
any
no,
area.
no. Hey, let me break right now. This Eagles team, if
Stinks.
anybody thinks they're going to the Super Bowl, that's a pipe dream. That's a pipe dream.
I
So
mean,
it's
they
just,
can't score. I mean,
I
forget
know,
what the issues are. They can't score.
I know. It's just so you're that game kind of made you throw up yesterday, huh?
Yeah, I mean, just sitting there. There was nothing to cheer about the entire game. But when you get that, I'll say this though: you get that interception, you get down to like the 10-yard line. If they got in a touchdown there, they probably win the game.
Oh boy, I just why do Eagles fans kiss the ass of players and always want to blame the coaches? Why is that the case? I
I don't know. I
Well, I
mean,
do because they love to kiss the player's ass. Oh, the player's always right. Players make plays,
I
or
think, and then
players don't
also if
make
you look
plays.
at, you talk about their offense. I mean, Cam Jurgens, it looks like he's at like
Uh,
50%. I mean,
yeah, I don't think he's not physically
but
the same.
he's physically at a detriment. I mean, put the other guy in there because I mean he is getting his ass kicked out there.
Yeah. It's just Eagles are 4-4 in their last 8 games. That's a pretty
And
good
you know who else
sample.
I haven't thought? Now he might not be as good because the other guys around him aren't as good, and he's compensating that. The big Australian, I mean, doesn't look like he's having a good year
I
either.
don't think anybody's having as good a year on the offensive line, and that's a really part of the issue. Hey, Jim, have a great weekend.
Yeah, take it
Thanks for
easy.
joining the show. Thanks, Jim.
Bye.
Take care. See some of these comments here. 3 losses is almost an automatic elimination for playoffs in college football, just like 2 losses was elimination when it was 4 teams. Well, yeah, we know that. It's hard to really believe in college football with all the crap that's going on. Hey, Mark Lawrence just sent me a text. The tiebreaker is conference record, which the Eagles right now have a better conference record. That's as of right now. I see Dotson Wesley, a throwback moment. Do I remember the ribbit incident with Dave Remington? Dave Remington was my guest. Yes, I do. It was a remote at uh, uh, a, a restaurant bar called Ribbit, which was a great place. We did a show over in Cherry Hill. Dave Remington, who was a center for the Eagles, was a guest of mine, and some listener jumped me. He had some issues. He had some actually mental issues, from what I understand. I went to court just to make sure he didn't go to jail. I just wanted to make sure he got help. But he had some kind of fight earlier in the day, and he came leaping at me and went at the remote. And Dave Remington grabbed him by the throat. I grabbed his wrist. I didn't know if he had anything in there. But yes, I do remember at the Ribbit. It was an interesting moment today, or an interesting moment years ago. That was years ago at the Ribbit. We were off the air for about, I think it was close to 30 minutes. It was a little less than 30 minutes. So, but I can't believe people don't understand. Okay, somebody here, what's it, Walker, 1970. I know you're right that Jalen has to play better, but how much of his current production is due to the coordinator and coaching? Doesn't that play a part in it? It looks like Jalen has regressed. The coaches, and I know this for a fact, when they sit down in their meeting with the quarterback, when they sit down in their meeting, they uh, they go over what the quarterback thinks can be effective for him, and what the quarterback, when they bring up play, hey, how about this? I don't know if I like that as much as I like this. The quarterback makes a lot of those decisions because you don't want the quarterback to run a play that he's not comfortable with. And then most coaches will do that. Um, the Flyers, all right, the Eagles just don't have a running game. And that's really created an issue here because it forces the quarterback to be better. I see George can't get enough as he's on his way out of town. I mentioned the Flyers earlier. The Flyers won again last night on the road. Flyers are the next team, and I'm not going to keep the Eagles out of the picture. First of all, right now they're the most successful team in town. But the Flyers are the next team to win a championship, excluding the Eagles. They'll win a championship before the Sixers, obviously, and before the Phillies. I think the Phillies window has passed. I think the Flyers are really going in the right direction. Give a lot of credit to the head coach, Rick Tocchet. Give a lot of credit to Keith Jones and Danny Briere for sure. All right. There's a couple other things. Nick Sirianni knows the problems. However, he knows the problems. However, after the game, and I understand he's trying to protect players, he knows the problems, but sometimes you just gotta say it. But here was his response after the game yesterday about the issues.
It will keep coming back to Kevin. But again, if I thought it was one thing, then you make those changes. Obviously, it's a lot of different things. But I don't think it is Kevin. Now we all have a part in it. Kevin has a part of it. I have a part of it. All the coaches have a part of it. All the players have a part of it. Again, you win and lose as a team. It's never on one thing.
Saquon had 13 carries, 34 passes for Jalen on a windy night. Is that just a game flow thing?
Yeah, and then also how how the game goes at the end, where you're trying to get back in the game. We obviously had a lot of throws there at the end. I thought early on we had some good runs. We didn't have a ton of plays in the first half, but early on we had some good runs. But I think you can chalk that up. Again, we want to be balanced with how we attack, but we'll do whatever we need to do to try to win each and every game. Obviously, we didn't tonight, but I think a little bit of that was, some of the 2-minute stuff that we had there at the end of the game.
Yeah, so he said a couple of things there. They're not changing the offensive coordinator. They're not changing the play caller because that's not the issue. How many times do I have to tell people that's not the issue? And A.J. Brown, as much as he's a whiner, he said things post-game yesterday, and I played it earlier. He said things, and all you have to do is listen to him. Execution was the reason that they're having issues. And when he was asked, are receivers open? He said, yes. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? It's just, it's really kind of sad. All right, I'm going to make the question. By the way, Ben Johnson, the coach of the Chicago Bears, did something that Nick Sirianni won't do because Nick Sirianni's not built like Ben Johnson. He pulled his sweatshirt off after the game when he addressed his players after the game. He obviously said a lot to them. But there's the head coach of the Chicago Bears, and the players went nuts. When you're winning, you can do those kind of things. It's just when you're winning, you can do those things. And now people get on Nick Sirianni for a lot of things. You can't get on him for that. I mean, Ben Johnson, that was kind of cool. He just pulled his shirt off and went nuts. Nick Sirianni's not the problem. Kevin Petula's not the problem. If that's the case, then blame Nick Fangio for 900 yards of offense combined by the last two teams. No, he's not the problem either, obviously. Players make plays. I see, who is this? Ken Lewis. The only people that ever thought Hurts was good was the Hurts stands. I dealt with him because we were winning, but I knew he wasn't the reason we were winning. I don't know. Some of that grammar is not really good. Eagles' problem offensively is the offensive line, and it appears the league has figured out their offense. Jalen has to do better job with his progressions. That's for sure. There are receivers who are open. How do we know we don't have a good head coach? Nobody inside the building says a bad word about him. All the news is Hurts is the problem. No. The news out of the building is not Hurts is the problem. That's not the news out of the building. That is not. And I understand people want the other running back to play, Bigsby, but you don't want to demean Saquon Barkley. He's earned playing. He's earned playing. But Hurts does not go through. Um, uh, Hurts does not go through the progressions well enough. The line issues are a problem, and Eagles are playing like they want the head coach fired. No, Joe Rooney. No, that's not the case. They don't want the head coach fired. They like the head coach, but players. There's a lot of players on the Eagles team that do take responsibility. I don't know if they would. Uh, uh, who would I take as an all-time Eagles quarterback between Foles and Hurts? First of all, the all-time quarterback is still McNabb until Hurts does better. But you got to take Foles because he won a Super. Well, they both won Super Bowls. Foles had the iconic moment. Foles is not as athletic. That's a tough question, but I'd probably have to lean towards Nick Foles because of what we know about him. All right, here's the question to win the Chickies and Beats gift certificate. All you have to do is have listened to the show. Mark Lawrence makes his picks. Who was the first team that he picked in his college football picks? The first team, I'm going to make it tougher for you. The first team he picked in college football and the first team he picked in the pros. I want both of them. And submit your answer to my website, howardeskin.com, by midnight Tuesday, December 2nd. And you'll hear who won, selected at random, on Wednesday, December 3rd, 7:30 is when we start the show. It's live on Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Join all of them. YouTube, I know that you get notified as soon as I do the show live. And the winner will be chosen randomly from all the correct entries. And you'll enjoy a lot of good food at Chickies and Pete's. I imagine there were some angry people at Chickies and Pete's in South Philly after the game yesterday if they went over there to grab something to eat. And they were probably so pissed off. It's just I love the way these people. I see a comment here, and this is just stupid. He took out Barkley had 13 carries for 56 yards. That's 26 for 112 if you carry it out. And Hurts can throw 250, 2 to 3 TDs if they put it all together. No. The offensive line's not good enough for Saquon Barkley to sustain that. You have too many downs that are long yardage, and that's why they don't run Barkley more. The people that say, well, it's the offensive coordinator are foolish. And Harry seems like he's on the right path. Patullo doesn't lace them up. No, he doesn't. It's just some people, they always want to find something to blame the offensive coordinator. I'm telling you right now, it is not his fault. Offense was better under Steichen and Moore. Patullo is incompetent. The offense was better because they had a running game under both those coaches. Definitely with Kellen Moore because they had Saquon Barkley in the offensive line playing at an unbelievable level. And with Steichen, hey, how about the way Swift ran the ball yesterday? He's a pretty good running back. Now, is he better than Saquon Barkley? Not last year, but consistently, he's a pretty good running back. And they were better in that area. That's why they were better. People just don't want to believe it. And I love all your comments, but sometimes you got to get a clue that you don't have a clue. No way. There's just no way. And by the way, no way Jeffrey Lurie would sign off on benching his $50 million a year quarterback in Jalen Hurts and replacing him with a seventh rounder in Tanner McKee. I think Tanner McKee was a sixth rounder, but that's irrelevant to that point. Jeffrey Lurie has nothing to do with whether Jalen Hurts is or is not the starting quarterback. Has nothing to do with it. Nothing. All right. Thanks for joining the show. I know it's a pissed off day for you, and it's not a good weekend after what happened with the Eagles. There's a lot of things that have to get better, and it should get better. It should get better against the Chargers next week on Monday night. We'll see. Arthur Brown, we're not going to the Super Bowl, fellas. Right now, the way this team is, I don't think so. I don't even think they're, let me see, and I'll end it with this. I don't think they're better. They're certainly not better than the Rams. Right now, they're not better than Chicago. And right now, I hate to say it, and here come the cockroaches out of the woodwork. I think the Cowboys right now are a better football team than the Eagles. I don't think they're going to win the division, but they're a better football team than the Eagles. That's sad to say. Sad, but true. All right. I want to thank everybody for joining the show. I want to thank Joe Gangemi for the technical part of the show on the other side. Done another great job. I want to thank Tony Anastasia for all the good graphics. And by the way, one thing I'm going to remind you, I'm going to post my picks for donations for Brandywine Valley SPCA. And you've been really good about your donations. And I appreciate everybody that makes the donations for the picks. Yesterday, I had a really good day, 3-0 in college football. So, but, every day's a new day. Hopefully you sign up, and Providence Animal Center also does very good work and benefits from my picks. And my picks are posted on my social media platforms. And hopefully you do make a donation. Thanks to everybody that has joined the show. It's actually a Sixers comment up here. Embiid's knee is cooked. No kidding. It's been cooked for years. It's been cooked. His body's been cooked for years. I told you they should have gotten rid of him. I told you. He's a stiff, and Paul George is a stiff, and the Sixers are a joke. I'll end it with that. Thanks for joining the show. Have a great weekend. Maybe I'll see you out in Westchester. I'm going to pop out there today. I'll say hello to, maybe I'll join you in a cup of coffee out there. Everybody have a great day and a great weekend, and we'll see you on Wednesday. And thanks for riding with the King on the Howard Eskin Show.
Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Yes, K-I-N. Oh, yeah. Hey, you turn it up, Philly. It's time to roll on the ones and twos, taking full control from the link to the X, from the Sixers to the Fields. One voice cuts through, giving you the real. He broke the stories, he started the fire, launched the whole game back in '86, never retired. Heroes crown him, yeah, they call him the king. Fur coat flashing, bling bling in every ring. He's the hardest working, great talking dog. Call in with your tape, but don't get it wrong. He'll call you a nitwit if you're acting a fool, but deep down you love it. That's the Eskin rule. Riding with the king, yeah, we're riding with the king. Howard Eskin Show, let the truth ring. Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, he knows the deal. Philly sports royalty, bow down and kneel. Riding with the king, put your hands in the air. From South Philly streets to the Delaware. No filter, no fear, just the facts on the mic. It's the Howard Eskin Show. Let's go get sight. Hey, riding with the king. with the king.